To do this job, you have got to be both so in love with yourself and hate yourself at the same time.
BobbyCast is now on Netflix. Congratulations. What is your advice, I guess, to radio personalities today?
Sometimes I'll hear people say, like, the key to getting ahead is just being authentic. Well, if you're authentically boring, nobody cares. Like, you can be authentic all day long. If you suck, you still suck.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm Forrest Gump. I've been able to check some boxes. Like you mentioned stand-up comedy. I toured and we did a special. I sold it to CMT and I was like, I'm good. I signed a hip-hop record deal for a year. I won Dancing with the Stars and it was awesome. Got sued a couple times. Never for anything mean. I'm very competitive. Unhealthily. We broke into a radio station and took over their airwaves.
When you're interviewing artists of that caliber, like a Taylor Swift, were you surprised when you got backlash on one of the interviews that you did with her?
I love backlash because it gets engagement. I don't believe all press is good press because, like, I don't want to be in the Epstein files. That's not good press. I'm not. Like, search it. I'm not in there. I swear to God.
What lies ahead in terms of goals for you?
I have a Mount Rushmore
Yeah, who's
of
on your
people
Mount
I've
Rushmore?
never interviewed. Number one,
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spout Podcast. Today we have a very special episode here in Nashville, Tennessee with the legendary Bobby Bones. How you doing, Bobby?
I'm good. Legendary feels old, but I guess that's true. I'm getting older.
Legendary
Yes.
just means accomplished.
Yeah, we got to be old to be take a compliment is what my therapist says. So
Yeah.
yes, thank you.
You're welcome. We're obviously here to talk about a lot, but most importantly, BobbyCast is now on Netflix. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's really been great because when we've been doing this podcast for 5 or 6 years, maybe more than that now. We started in a bedroom in a condo and it slowly started growing and it was just like songwriters and the growth was so organic and I was surprised that Netflix came and were like, we like it. And so it's been crazy, the fact that it's on Netflix now and it's reached a whole new audience. And the coolest thing, if I'm being honest, is it gives us much bigger guests.
Yeah.
Because people are like, you're on Netflix, we're in.
Sure.
So thank you. We're very proud of it.
I mean, this is kind of a humble statement coming from the man that's interviewed probably every famous artist there is out there.
A lot, but now they'll give me an hour easily. Or sometimes, you know this, you have to like negotiate and be like, can you do this? But we're like 3 months. Wow. Since we're on Netflix, people are like, yeah, we can do it 5 o'clock. And I'm like, great. So it's been really wonderful.
The power of the name Netflix.
I know.
You've really done everything, it seems like, in the span of your career. You've done radio, television, author, comedian. It's truly amazing, the scope of your career, which has been impressive to watch. What is it about your personal brand do you think that resonates beyond just a radio personality?
I think everything I do is consistent with who I am. And my favorite thing to do still is the radio show or anything audio. And that to me is radio, right? Because anything that comes through the phone counts as radio to me. So I was able to build that audience through spoken word, which is podcast, which is radio. And so, with that long form media, like you form relationships with folks and it's all based on that. Any success that I've had anywhere, television or writing books or comedy, it literally all comes back to me on radio or podcast. Also, I've been very fortunate. We started podcasting the show 20 years ago. So we've been podcasting for so long that, and I think I was given a lot of credit early on for being like ahead, but I wasn't. I was just young. And I wasn't like this great thinker or this person that saw the future. But, I started doing morning radio and syndicated when I was 23. So I was just using the things that I was using. Yeah. So I think for me, a lot of that has been, I was fortunate to start a long time ago. And when the digital movement kind of landed where it is now, we were already there waiting instead of like chasing it. And then I'm just the same everywhere. Like I have interests. Like I work for the NFL and I'm a massive sports fan, but I'm the same person. Even when I was doing, stand up and I was touring all the time, I was the same person. And I'm not the most relatable as in, when I was just starting, I've always been nuts. I don't feel like people relate to me because I just think, but I feel like my story is very relatable to how I grew up and what got me here. And so I've been fortunate that people are patient with me because I am insane. But I think they trust me. And so I think that's been a big part of the success.
Insane in what way?
Oh, I mean, I'm so neurotic. I'm neurotic. I'm overly, unhealthily disciplined. I mean, it's OCD. I'm difficult to work for. I'm also the greatest to work for. I think the standard that I hold people to, the standard that I hold myself to, I've never been late to work once in, 25 years. I'm very, very regimented. I demand creatively things from me that really you shouldn't demand creatively because my demands are so regimented. So it's just odd. I'm just odd. I go to therapy. I have 2 therapists. But I recognize that, and I'm proud of it. And I think that people just relate to the vulnerability of it. Sometimes I'll hear people say the key to getting ahead is just being authentic. Well, if you're authentically boring, nobody cares. You can be authentic all day long. If you suck, you still suck. Yeah. So I think it's understanding, what parts of me are the most compelling, what parts aren't, and just really amplifying those. But I feel like I'm Forrest Gump. The Forrest Gump of media. I've been able to do a lot of things pretty well. I'm not great at anything, but I've been able to check some boxes. Like you mentioned stand-up comedy. I toured for a few years and I just want to do a special. And so I toured and we did a special. I sold it to CMT and I was like, I'm good. I'm going to Seinfeld this thing. I'm going out. So I don't really have an answer. I talked for 4 minutes on a question that you asked about why. And I'm nuts is basically it, but I'm not afraid of it. I mean,
obviously maybe being nuts is part of the key to success.
I think it has to be. You have to be nuts. To do this job, you have got to be both so in love with yourself and hate yourself at the same time. I could not, I'm over me. I could never see me again and be okay with it because my name and my face is all my brand. And you talk about the brand, it's just Bobby, 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 Bobby. So I'm over it. I'm over me. I'm good. However, if I don't believe that I'm good enough to either sell tickets or have people give me an hour out of their day to listen to a podcast, I have to also believe in me so much that, again, the juxtaposition of how insecure I am and how confident I am, I think that's a part of my success. That also is what makes me nuts. Yeah. There's also not a good answer, but
no, it is actually because it makes sense.
Yeah, it's
maybe I'm a little nuts too.
It's like a hamster wheel and then birds flying around the hamster wheel up there.
You did mention, obviously, starting radio so early. You started at 17, and you are now officially the youngest inductee in the National Radio Hall of Fame, which is quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, I keep a big sign in the waiting room. I want everybody to know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool. Again, I just started so young. I begged for a job at a local radio station, just hey, can I just work in this building? Because I always wanted to do radio. I always wanted to be heard. And so they hired me to clean the lobby basically on Sundays. And so that's what I did. But they fired somebody before my first ever cleaning session. And so they put me on the air on weekends. They gave me the stupid name Bobby Bones. And I've just been able to do that and kind of parlay that into other things along the way. But yeah, I was very fortunate to know what I wanted to do at a young age. I used to think everybody knew what they wanted to do. Because I knew what I wanted to do when I was 5 years old. I wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be on the radio. I wanted to be on television. And so I just assumed everybody always knew. It wasn't until later that I found out most people don't know. But I am so fortunate that I knew what I wanted to do. So when I was 16, 17 years old, I was fired up and I just started going for it immediately.
I feel like the landscape of radio has changed significantly, obviously, over the past few years, and especially since when you were coming up in radio. How do you see the landscape of radio now, especially in this world of new media?
For me, radio is just what comes through your phone, and that's really what it's been to me for the past 10 years. And I think I was met with a lot of pushback when I first started to say that out loud because it was so much, you need to only care about what comes over the into someone's radio. I was fortunate enough to be young that I was podcasting very young, and that was, to me, it wasn't just the future, it was what people my age were doing. So we focused so heavily on podcasts, on the digital space. So yeah, radio to me is literally audio. So, I have a few different podcasts, I do my radio show, but there's nothing that I do on my live radio show that I don't multi-purpose. I don't do it if it can't live on demand as well. So yeah, the radio landscape has changed tremendously. But I think in a much better way. Also, it used to be way back in the day where people would be upset, I'm not getting a look to be successful in radio. There are no gatekeepers anymore. If you're good, you can do a podcast and it will organically build, and then you have your own story and you don't have to be on a radio station. So I think that, the new lack of gatekeepers for that reason, because there doesn't need to be as many. I think that is so beneficial to like creators now, because no one's holding you back. In this world, nobody's holding you back. If you ain't doing it, it's because you suck. Because literally, if you were good, you could go into a podcast and organically build a following, and that's my thing. So I'm very grateful for what radio is, but I definitely don't consider radio just terrestrial coming over the speakers or the tower or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, what is your advice, I guess, to radio personalities today, aside from, building a podcast? What if they're already on the radio? Because I feel like the conversations that are happening are, they're scared of the lifespan of radio.
Yeah, I think they should be. I think everybody should always be, and afraid is different than aware. I think everybody, it doesn't even have to be in radio, but everybody should be aware of technology all the time. Even with artists, when, CDs were big when I was a kid, and then it went to streaming, and I was like, oh my God, it's over. It wasn't over, it got better. You could create more music, but that's what's happening right now. And if people are, if they're on the radio now and they're like, what's happening? You have to happen or you're going to get left behind. Like, there'll always be that job for you. And I hope you do it. But if you're not creating mid to long form content that people can consume not live, you're just not going to last very long. So I hope you sound good while you're doing it, because that's needed. But also, if you want a long career in audio, like, you've got to do compelling content, period. And I do tell people this. People will be like, I'm concerned where radio is going. I've never been more excited about where audio is going, because you can have a niche and specialize in it and be so successful in that super narrow niche. Your favorite thing could be the Simpsons episodes from 1999, and you could do a podcast on that, and it could blow up, and you can make a lot of money doing that. But you just have to be able to identify what's working now and not live on what was working 15 years ago. And I think that tends to be the problem now, where people are going, I'm going to fight digital. I want radio to be what it used to be, but nothing is what it used to be. Even 15 years ago, we deal with this in music a lot now, where people are like, man, it was so much better back then. Well, back then it was so much better the back then before then. So that's always going to be what the issue is in technology, in anything creative. I love where radio is now. But to me, radio is not just talking through a microphone live from a tower, a transmitter. It's literally what comes to a phone on demand or live.
Yeah. So it could be a podcast. It could
be
your Netflix show.
That's it. Like, yeah. And now that podcasts are consumed so visual as well, that's another element like that people can take advantage of. It's so important for people to know there aren't gatekeepers. If you're good, the cream will rise. You got YouTube, you got TikTok, you can start your own RSS stream. And if you get enough people to follow your podcast, you automatically can get paid based on who your stream is through. It doesn't have to be through a big company. There have never been more opportunities for people to make it in media. And that's what's super exciting right now.
You've been called the most powerful man in country music.
That was a long time ago.
You declined that title now?
Well, it's not that. It's just things have changed so much, even in the past 5, 6, 7 years. A big thing that I used to do is I used to break a lot of music, meaning I'd find a song I liked, and I'd put it on, and next thing you know, they have a hit, or they're an artist that's now getting looks. But everything is so fractured now. Do I feel like I still have I still have a little power? If I want to like highlight something and play it, I can get a lot of ears on it, which can help the person. But it's so fractured in that there's nothing that any one person can do in any one place that matters as much. And again, that's awesome. So yes, Forbes called me that. I will accept it, but I know it's not as real as it used to be. But I'm super grateful for that, because even then when that was said, he's the most powerful man in country music, I didn't have 11 podcasts. I wasn't able to go do my thing for the NFL. I had to really focus on only that. So yes, at one time, back in my old days, 5, 6 years ago, I would have accepted that. And there's still something to that now, but it's definitely not what it used to be.
Yeah. What's crazy is a lot of people don't know that you started in pop music and hip hop. So how did the pivot to country music even happen?
I just loved music, and it was really never about music. And to me, it's all, when people say they get into doing radio for music, I'm like, man, you're in the wrong business then. Because if you want to talk because you love music, you're going to talk for 12 seconds and you're going to be very disposable. I always loved music, but it was never the music. I just wanted to be heard. I just wanted people to hear what I had to say. And so I went and applied at the pop station in my hometown. I applied to the country station. They didn't even call me back. But I was a teenager.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have called me back. I applied to the pop station, and that's the one that was going to hire me to clean the lobby and switch out a countdown CD. And so I got in there, and I was just doing, it didn't matter what station had hired me. And so I was in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and then I went to Little Rock, and then I started like syndicating my night show, which wasn't real syndication. I was just recording voice tracks for different markets. I moved to Austin unseen. I got in a lot of trouble in Little Rock because we broke into a radio station and took over their airwaves. And
like a guerrilla style? Or?
Yeah, very much so. The other station, this is old school. This is like 2001. And so there was a station called Alice 107.7, and I was on Q100, 2 pop stations, and I was at night. And they'd come over and they'd stickered our van because it was 2 pop stations battling it out. I'm very competitive, unhealthily. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll get you tonight. And we had a guy in our building, and he was kind of my sidekick kind of person. And I said, hey, man, go see if you can find a cowboy hat back in like the prize room. Because we had a couple country stations in our building. And they had turned on a brand new country station in their building. So as soon as my show was over at 10 p.m., we drove over to that building. And he put a cowboy hat on and knocked on the door. And I said, they're going to ask what you're doing. Tell them you work for the new country station. It's 10:20 p.m. at this time. And they let him in. And I was in the parking lot. I couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. But what I had done before we went over, on their website, they had pictures of their studio, inside their studio. So I could look at those pictures and show him how to work the board. So we kind of went through, this is what you're going to do whenever you get in. And so I kind of trained him to go into that studio, call me from their phone lines, turn me down until right when he was leaving, and then turn me up. And so he did that. He turned me up and he locked their door on the way out so no one could get in. So we drove around Little Rock on their radio station. And I had my phone, which I was using as a microphone, just talking on their air for like 15 minutes. And I was like, do not ever mess with Bobby Bones, like ever, because this will happen. And so I got in a lot of trouble for that. It was awesome.
It's amazing.
But I got in a lot of trouble. And so I got in so much trouble that it started making like the industry magazines. And that's when Austin, Texas called, and they were like, hey, we need somebody here. And so I'd never been to Austin. And I was like, I'm in. I just graduated college. Uh-huh. I was like, I'm in. So I moved down to Austin and started there. Little did I know, we had a ton of trouble in Austin too. But that's kind of how that happened. When I got to Austin, I did nights there for a while. Got sued a couple times. Never for anything mean.
A casual throwaway.
Yeah. I mean, once we did mornings too. We got in a lot of trouble in the morning too. But, I was leaving Austin at night because the station was doing terribly. And it wasn't because of that, because I had another offer to go West Coast, like a station in Seattle had said, hey, come do nights for us. I'd been in Austin for like 6 months. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, this station kind of sucks. I like Austin, but the station sucks. And so I went and told the radio station, I said, I'm going to leave and go to Seattle. And they said, hey, what can we do to keep you? I was 22 at the time. I was like, I want to do mornings. Mm-hmm. And they were like, too young, big market, too young. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go, but I'll come back Monday and turn in my 2 weeks notice. I came back and they were like, we'll give you the job.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, dang, that's awesome. They gave me $50,000 a year. It was, I thought I was rich. Mm. I thought I can buy whatever I want. I can go to the gas station to get anything I want at $50,000 a year. It was amazing. And so I did that and then started spending my own money to syndicate my morning show. And so I would buy this piece of equipment and I would beg stations to put me on for free. And I had done that. I had like 8 or 9 affiliates. It was deep in the hole money-wise. But growing up poor, it's not crazy to be poor. So I was good. Like it was easy to figure out how to manage my money when I never had money. Mm-hmm. So had a little success syndicating my show, spending my own money. And I signed a hip hop record deal for a year. I was as Captain Caucasian, which was pretty fun for a little bit.
Captain Caucasian?
Yeah, I was voted second best rapper in Austin, Texas, in the Austin Music Awards. Again, it's Forrest Gump like.
Captain Caucasian is probably the funniest rap name I've heard.
Yeah, and I was pretty funny though. Like that was kind of it. Like I was Timu Lil Dicky, like way Timu Lil Dicky, way super Timu.
Like a Malibu's Most Wanted.
Yeah, like probably not even as good as him. And so I was doing the thing in Austin, and I had built my syndication, like 25 stations. We were running it from like a back room, and the company was like, what do you want to do? And I wanted to go to New York or LA. Mm-hmm. And both Ryan Seacrest was in LA and Elvis Duran was in New York, and they just re-signed deals. And I was like, I'm out again. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it, but I can just go do all this. And they said, well, if you could do anything else, what would you do? I said, I want to go and like be the first national country guy. Mm. because I don't have to change anything. And I haven't changed anything, to this day. I've gotten older and changed who I am because of like my life. But I moved here and it was miserable for a couple of years. Everybody hated me because I was so different. But it's been awesome. And yeah, I have done it all. I started in pop and hip hop, and I've done sports. I've done alternative, and now I'm doing country. But I think the reason I'm here is because like I talk to people in normal states. No offense to you in LA, California, but I talk to people. But some of California is normal.
I was
like
raised
the more
in
north.
Nashville, so.
Yeah, oh, great. Then you get it. The more north you go, Bakersfield, like that's normal folks. So it's been great for me in that way because I do feel like I get to talk to people that kind of understand where I come from, and so I think that's why this is home.
I mean, you've really had an illustrious career. You've interviewed everyone from Taylor Swift to Garth Brooks to John Mayer. So what do you think it is about you that lets these artists feel so comfortable in your space?
I'm pretty fearless, but I'm not looking for clicks. Meaning I don't think people come into the room, and now it's not clicks, it's clips, right? I think when people come into the room, they know I'm not trying to gotcha anybody. And at times I sacrifice a couple really good gotchas for the sake of having a relationship with them long term, so they know that that's not going to be the case. Also, like I talk about music, and I didn't get into this for music, and it didn't matter to me what kind of music was played on the stations that I'm on. But I do love music so much that I know music. I play music. I guess I still am, but I've had a #1 music comedy album on Billboard. I've had a top 5 country album, same album. They just classified it as country. I like to act like it's 2 albums. So I've had, I have a comedy music duo called the Raging Idiots, and we've played the biggest festivals. So I think there's a bit too of understanding, although it's not exactly the same. Like I know what it's like to tour. I know what it's like for it to suck for 2 or 3 days on a bus. I know what it's like to write. There was a while, there's 2 really prominent songwriters in town, and I think one of them's had like 70 #1s, another one's had 40 or 50. But we formed secretly a trio. We were writing for this new country artist that was called Neon People, and we were Neon People. We just didn't tell anybody, but we just wrote all these songs for months and months. The artist is Nicole Galligan and Ross Copperman. They're very, very famous in town. And so I've just done a lot. So I think having an understanding of what their life is more than just, hey, thanks for coming in, celebrity. I think that helps a lot. I have some empathy toward their situation. And also I feel like I can call them out on stuff because I've experienced some of the stuff and it ain't that bad. So I think it's a lot of that. And also when you live in Nashville, as you know, this isn't Los Angeles where people could live an hour away in the same town. We're all kind of here together.
Right.
And you get to know people because you see them at Target. And I think that helps. And sometimes you really don't like them. And sometimes you love them. It's both. There are artists I can't stand, but there are artists that I really love.
Who, Bobby?
Oh, many. But it's like, it's the human, it's just like if you go to school, right? You're in school. There are some people you want to punch in the face just because your personalities, aren't the same. But Nashville's like that. And I think a lot of the reasons that I'm able to click with artists that come in is because, one, we're kind of crammed together in a town, and there's just an understanding, and they know I'm not out to like gotcha them.
When you're interviewing artists of that caliber, like a Taylor Swift, there's obviously a fan army that's behind someone like that. Were you surprised when you got backlash on one of the interviews that you did with her?
I love backlash because it gets engagement. So no, I encourage backlash. And also things are always cut out of context, like certain clips are removed and you don't really see the rest of it. So yeah, I never am upset about clips that people lash back or front, because it's engagement is what lifts everything up. So no, I'm never surprised by anything. And as long as I didn't, like there have been things that I've said that usually not in interviews. Like I'm pretty solid with interviews, but usually things I've said, like when I'm just going on about things where maybe it wasn't said exactly right. And then it gets clipped and I'm like, that kind of sucks. But mostly any sort of lash at all is good lash. I don't believe all press is good press because I don't want to be in the Epstein files. That's not good press. I'm not. Like, search it. I'm not in there. I swear to God. Like, that's not good press. But most things in this space, if you're not hurting animals or kids and you just have opinions, it's all good. So, no, I feel great about any lash at all. Backlash, front lash, side lash. Like, give it to me. I'll take it.
Eyelash.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about your interview style that maybe other interviewers lack?
Oh, I don't know if anybody lacks anything. I think I'm just comfortable immediately. So I think anybody can do a really great interview. I actually don't even like doing interviews that much.
Really?
I'd rather talk about me, honestly, as egotistical as it is. I have a lot of stuff I want to say. Like, I don't give a crap anymore.
You're in the right place.
Yeah, I know, right? I think, though, for me, I'm comfortable immediately. I think it allows me to get better things from them quicker. I think interviewing is pretty easy generally. Like if you listen. That's the hardest thing about interviewing, because people will say, what's the key? I don't think I'm a very good interviewer, but I'm so confident because I have done thousands that I don't need to go to the next question in my head, because I feel comfortable enough listening to what's said and knowing, because I've done it so many times, that either I can go based off something you've just said, or I can just ask what I feel like is the next most honest chronological question. But that only comes with a lot of experience. Right. So that's one of those 10,000 hour things, to where I don't think I was a good interviewer at first. I think I got to be a pretty good interviewer through doing it a lot. And then now I think I'm really great, but only because I've done it so much and I'm comfortable immediately. And it's like if you're doing an athletic event, like if your heart's racing, or even if you're going to go perform, if you're acting, or I did Dancing with the Stars, if my heart's racing, I'm not going to perform as well because I can't think as clear.
Right.
But in an interview situation, it's the same thing, because, oh, big stars here. Oh, God, I don't want to mess up. That was me forever. Now it's like, man, they got dirty underwear on too. So I'm good. And it's calm. And the faster that we can get to a good place, the faster we get to a great place. And I think a lot of times, if it's not good at the beginning, it won't get good at the end. It can get pretty good by the end. So I think that's been my key, is just being comfortable. No real skill set.
Do you have a favorite interview that you've done?
You mentioned John Mayer. Why I like the John Mayer, one, I'm a massive fan. He's so cerebral, and like he would challenge me during interviews because he's so smart, and he would just talk about stuff that if I'm not paying attention, I would be lost. And he would also do pop buys. We had a brief couple years of like mild friendship, meaning if he was in town, he'd be like, oh, I'm going to come by. Or if I was in Los Angeles doing something, he would come by. Like I was doing an iHeart thing, and he'd be like, I'm going to come by the show. And so we'd had a falling out or anything. I think just time. You know how relationships are, man. Yeah, of course. Yeah. John Mayer was fun because of that, because you just didn't know where he was going to go. And I feel like in these settings, I'm in control. I wasn't always in control with him. I liked that. There's a country artist who was massive in the 90s named Clint Black, who is so whip smart. And he's going to cut you during the interview, and it's so funny, and it's so refreshing for me to have to be on my toes. So I like to be challenged. Sure. Heck, I like when people fight with me. Like, I like that. I've gotten into some fights before, and those are fun because it's just a different muscle that has to kind of be flexed.
Yeah. Who fought with you?
I got in a big fight with Wendy Williams once.
Oh, this is I'm here for this story. Tell me everything.
So she came in. She was promoting like an appearance. And one of my best friends used to work for Wendy, Charlamagne the God.
Oh, yeah, I know Charlamagne.
Yeah, and so I knew they had a relationship, and he worked for her for a long time, and she came in, and we were talking about something, and I had read her book, because I love hip-hop, love country music, love alternative music. Like, I'm just a music guy. And so I'd asked her a question from her book about Tupac, and it was not a question to get clicks. I just generally was curious. And she looked at me and was like, hey, why are you asking me that question? You'll never be me. And I was like, what is happening right now? And so like that excites me a little bit, right? Because it's different. I ended up kicking her out of the studio. And yeah, but it was great. And it wasn't me. It wasn't like, get out. We had our little back and forth. And it was, hey, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. I literally was just asking something about what you had written. I didn't feel like I was out of line at all. And so she left, and then at the time it was her husband. Like he was waiting for me outside. Was not a fun scene, but that's fun. That like to me, just it's got to be like a pilot hitting turbulence, like hard turbulence. They fly all the time, and it's normal, and they know turbulence isn't going to kill them. We don't know that, but they know turbulence isn't going to kill them. So they're like, well, look at this is fun. I think I like those. Hank Williams Jr. was another one. This one's gone kind of viral. He comes in, legend. My grandma loved him. I like Hank Williams Jr. And so he comes in. And he's very loud and boisterous anyway. But I'm excited because this is a literal legend. And anybody my grandma loved, I love because my grandma raised me. And so I'm pretty pumped about it. And it was Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys, loved the Black Keys, and he had produced the project, and he was in with Hank. And so they come in, and Hank Williams Jr. was just a little angrier than I thought he probably would be. And I didn't understand why. And he was like challenging me on stuff, and I'll mix it up. And you can see in the YouTube video, like I'm in it. And finally I'm just like, why are you here? Like, if you want to leave, you can leave. And so he answered a couple questions and he left. I didn't know why. Turns out, this was not told to me, he wanted to like smoke a cigar in the building, and someone had told him outside you can't do that. So he came in hot. He came in pissed off. And I still think the interview was pretty good. And he left because I was like, hey, if you don't want to be here, you have to be here. And it wasn't disrespectful. It was like, literally, if you don't want to be here, you can go. I'm good. And then Dan Auerbach from Black Keys hung out. We talked for like 20 minutes. That was awesome too. But like, I like those. Because I don't feel like I did anything wrong.
Lots of names.
Let's go. Let's do something.
All right, what do you want to do?
I want to get out of here.
Wait, already? We just...
I want to smoke my cigar and get the hell out of here. I don't like this shit. Now you understand? Can we leave now?
You just walking?
I'm ready to go.
All right, goodbye.
I got a $26 cigar out there, so I've got about, in the words of my uncle, about $10.50 left on it.
All right. I think there are probably times where maybe I didn't realize it, that I was disrespectful and didn't understand. I never want that to happen. Like, I'm not chasing that. I want everybody to feel like this is a very warm place. I'm inclusive. Our show is inclusive. Like, come on in. But I do like those instances where I'm challenged, because it gets to be a bit repetitive.
Yeah. Were those the craziest interviews you've had?
Those,
because it sounds like you're more excited by them than
anything.
I
do. I love, like, those are fun. Those are fun to me because it's not going the exact way. Like, I love it when someone feels so comfortable too that they don't forget they're being interviewed, but they feel protected. And so they'll talk about things maybe they're not talking about with other people, knowing that I'm also not going to let them get to a place that may be detrimental to them.
Right.
Because they know I'll kind of have their back. Like, that to me is a compliment whenever I'm in an interview like that. You know, I've had those with like Blake Shelton. I know Blake really well. And right after the divorce of him and Miranda, we got into a place where he was really talking about stuff. And I kind of had felt like he's going to talk, and he was saying stuff that he hadn't said to anybody else. But I felt like it was coming from a place of, you're not going to push me too far. You're going to let me say what I kind of want to say. And we'll kind of do this dance together. So that makes me feel good whenever that happens. So yeah, I don't love doing interviews.
Right.
I like talking with people that I enjoy hearing from. And like on the BobbyCast on Netflix, I've had to get over the data chase, meaning what's going to get the most streams, either on podcast or on Netflix, and just go, what interests me? Because I have found what interests me, for the most part, interests people that are watching. Because when I'm interested in something, I tend to like go at it in different ways, and it's more compelling. Like, we had a wrestler on the other day, and I like wrestling, but I don't put a lot of wrestlers on my shows. We do a lot of music, and then we dance around some other stuff. But I had a wrestler on, and he's from Scotland. He used to be the WWE champion. His name is Drew McIntyre, and we spent 8 minutes of a 60-minute interview talking about wrestling. He's from Scotland. They have something called black pudding. It's pig's blood. It's one of their, right. So like, we're getting into that. And like their food, and like, so like, I am very interested in people, and I find the more I'm interested, the better it is.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, interviewing, it's a part of it for sure. And it's become part of my brand, but yeah, I like it sometimes.
Is there someone that you're dying to interview?
I mean, if you were like, hey, you can, I have a Mount Rushmore
Yeah, who's
of
on your
people
Mount
I've
Rushmore?
never interviewed. Number one, my hero growing up is David Letterman. He won't return my calls or my DMs. I've tried. I've slid into everything, called. I got nothing.
Maybe that's why he's not returning.
Maybe
so. Sliding into everything.
Yeah. Maybe it's a little too much. David Letterman is one, because that was my hero, because he was an irreverent, awkward-looking guy from the middle of America, and I was that goofy little kid. And I thought, man, if that guy can do it, maybe I can do it. So David Letterman is my all-time life hero. The other one is Sting, the wrestler, not the singer.
Okay. Threw me for a second.
I know. The wrestler. It was my favorite wrestler growing up, and he's just played hard to get. He won't even answer my calls. I did write a book and write in my book that Sting was one of my heroes growing up, and he mailed me my book back. I didn't even send it to him. He mailed me a copy of my own book, and he signed above my name. above his name in the book, and that was it. But I just got this book back from some random place, and I was like, why did someone send me a copy of my own book? It's my first one. I'm flipping through it, and I see that Steve something had signed. I was like, oh my God, Sting just found my book, signed it, and mailed it to me. So that happened, and then Mark Grace is my favorite baseball player ever, played first base for the Cubs. So I've never interviewed him. Although I have a cell phone number now, I won't reach out. I can't. I don't want to be.
I feel like 22-year-old Bobby would reach out.
22-year-old Bobby would be like, can't believe there are cell phones. I think 22-year-old Bobby would be like, everybody has a cell phone? I got a pager, man. I can't believe everybody has a cell phone. This is crazy. In this space, for me, I would love to talk with Kacey Musgraves. Now, we had a bad falling out when I first moved to town. All my fault. I came to town knives out because I was not welcomed in Nashville. It was brutal for years. And so anybody that I perceived as a slight to me, I cut them. All defense, all insecurity. And we had an instance at an interview once where I felt like she was really disrespectful. In hindsight, she wasn't. She was just being herself. Now that I know her, she's very shy. She's quiet. And so I had said some stuff on the air about her not being the nicest person. I regret that. I've apologized. I apologized to her for that because I was just insecure and scared. And I felt like everybody's beating up on me, so I was just going to beat up on everybody else. We've never had a formal interview after that. We had a couple before that, but I haven't spoken with Kacey other than like seeing her somewhere. I saw her once in a parking lot. It's Nashville. You see people in parking lots all the time. Yeah. And I was like, hey, Kacey. And she was super nice. And I was like, hey, I'm really sorry about all of that. And just as humans, not even as like people that work in, showbiz. She was great. She was like, all good. So I think in this space of people that are around, that's probably the one that I haven't had, that I, regret my actions, have apologized for them, so that I'm not embarrassed as much about it, I think, as I would be if I hadn't apologized. I'm ashamed of how I used to act, but it wasn't just toward her, it was toward everybody. Yeah. I was bull in a china shop. Yeah. Out of control when I moved to town because I was so scared, because I felt like everybody was pounding on me all the time because I was so different.
In what way? What do you mean?
Oh, I was hated. I came into town. They were doing, CBS came to town and did a story on me because I didn't wear a cowboy hat. That was the whole story. Here's this national guy in country music who doesn't wear a cowboy hat or a belt buckle. It was so anti what the establishment was. And I refused to put artists on just because the record was coming out. And I still played hip hop. I still do to this day. But at the time, playing hip hop on country stations, blasphemy. I think there's a verse in the Bible, y'all shall go to hell if I play hip hop on country stations. And so they would use that. I was not welcomed. It was not warm, but I took that out on other people, and it was unfair. So I also don't think I would be as successful now had I not done that. It's a weird relationship with that because I came guns out, and I think I needed to do that, but I regret how hard I did that sometimes. I bought billboards. Do you know the story? No. So it sucked for me for about 2 to 3 years here. And I couldn't figure out how to get people to even give me a chance because everything about what I was doing was different than what had been done traditionally. I was not going to change. So I was going to go down doing it my way, or I was going to succeed doing it my way. Because the worst is if you go down and you don't succeed and you didn't do it your way. Because then you second guess, man, if I'd have just done it like me, maybe it would have worked. Yeah. I just didn't want to have that. So I just could not get it to click. I couldn't get my company to really buy in. There were a couple people that bought in, the big executives, but in the format, I couldn't get people to buy in, different stations. It felt like everybody was against me. Certain artists were against me. And so I thought, what can I do that isn't like me doing it to get people to maybe hop on board and give me a shot? So I went and I got online on LegalZoom and I learned how to build a shell company. I learned so no one would know what the company was that I owned. I then went to a guy in town that owned the biggest billboards in Nashville. And I said, I want to buy 2 of your biggest billboards right in the middle of the city on the interstate. I said, but you can't tell anybody it's me. And so I think it was $12,000 for the 2 billboards. And I said, and I didn't understand NDAs at the time. I didn't have one. Now, everybody signs them. If I shake your hand, NDA, can't tell anybody about that. But so I was just like, hey, I will give you $2,000 extra if anybody asks you. This was not me. And to this guy's credit, he never said a word. So I bought 2 billboards, and You can still look it up on the internet. And there were 2 massive white billboards, and all they said in black letters was, "Go away, Bobby Bones." And so I bought them, and I waited like 3 weeks, and I didn't know exactly when they were going up, but I remember people started calling like crazy, going, "There are these billboards that are saying, 'Go away, Bobby Bones.'" And I was like, "What?"
Who would do that?
Yeah, that was exactly it. Like, and so like the news is covering it, and there are like industry people writing blogs about it. Like they were speculating which artists or record labels or other radio companies were trying to get me out of town. It was me. I did it all. And I told nobody because I could not have that secret get out because if people knew it was me doing it, I lost.
Yeah.
So I never said anything about it. And for like 3 years, I never said anything. But what had happened was people saw those billboards and either A, they said, "I agree, go away, Bobby Bones." Or they said, B, who's bullying him? That sucks. Or they said, C, who is Bobby Bones? All 3 worked. Mm-hmm. It's like, I was talking about Backlash. I'll take Backlash, Front Lash, All Lash. I was getting that in those billboards. And it never came out that it was me until I wrote about it in my first book. Mm-hmm. And that's the story that the Washington Post picked up. And they were like, Bobby Bones bought his own billboards 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. It changed my trajectory in this town because they will still do research time to time. And people still remember that. And like, that's the first time I ever thought about even paying attention to that person was because I bought those billboards. So I'll do anything. Mm-hmm. And I came out, again, I came out really hard, but I think had I not done the billboards, I wouldn't be here today. So I'm grateful for how I acted. However, I'm a little ashamed at times for how insecure I was.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of my favorite stories of yours is not just winning Dancing with the Stars, but subsequently being the first person to ever return your mirror ball.
Yeah.
You actually spoke about it in an episode of BobbyCast on Netflix with Tom Bergeron. For people that don't know the story, can you explain why you would return your mirror ball?
So first of all, I'd like to say I just had foot surgery. I was out of my skull, but my feelings were hurt. So I don't want people to think I only did this because I had just been through surgery. But I won Dancing with the Stars and it was awesome. That whole experience was awesome. It was extremely hard because 1, I'd never danced before. Mm-hmm. 2, I was the only one working a full-time job as I was doing the show. And 3, I was having to wake up and like be on the air at 4 a.m. in California. So I was at the station at 3 a.m. Yeah. Do the show, and then train all day. And I would sleep at the studio a few days a week. And so it's very difficult for me. And I won the show. And what was crazy about the show was I wasn't the bad dancer on that show. Bad dancer meaning like the one that everybody's like, I can't believe this person's winning. I wasn't good. But there were other people that lasted, and they were the controversial ones. I was never the controversial one. I wasn't good, but I was getting 7s and 8s. I was getting the fan vote, which we didn't know at the time. Mm-hmm. But once I won, I ended up being the bad one because I was the bad winner. So every time there'd be someone last on a season that was bad, they would start comparing them to me. And I want to be like, I wasn't the bad one on my season. And so after years and years of just getting pounded, I was done. I was like, man, I loved my time there. I love the people there. There are still dancers on that show who are A+ type people. But I'm not good. I don't want to be associated with this anymore. If people are just going to pound me for being the winner, I don't pound it anymore. So I'd had surgery on my ankle. I was messed up on pain medicine. And Tom Bergeron had said in an interview, unprompted, about me. And I love Tom Bergeron. Loved him love him now. And they said, was there ever like an elimination that surprised you? That was the question. And he goes, not elimination, but I can tell you somebody who won that surprised me. And I'm like, why are you going to me? I'm just catching strays for no reason. And he says, Bobby Bones. And I'm like, oh my, and again, I'd had ankle surgery. And I'm like, F this, man. And so I gave the mirror ball to my assistant and I was like, hey, will you just find where to mail this and just get it out of here? And so it was gone. Now I haven't seen it since. Would I like it back now? Yeah, probably.
I was going to say, have they not shipped it back to you?
Nobody knows where it is.
Oh.
Who knows? So I have friends that work at BBC. BBC's the one that owns the show, and they do it all around the world. And I like wrote shows for BBC for a while. Like I was working, so I have a lot of friends there. And I've talked to them. I'm like, you guys know where the mirror ball is? Nope. Nobody knows where it is. So my theory is somebody opened it in the mail and just kept it and never said anything about it. So yeah, I regret being mean to Kacey and sending my mirror ball back. But you know what? They got the message. That was stupid of me, but that thing blew up. That story blew up like crazy. Yeah. So that's funny. And I'm so competitive. I do stupid stuff like that sometimes. And I don't really regret it. I wish I had it, but that's a good story.
I love the way you opened that interview with him because you were like, why do you hate me?
That's right. Nobody asked about me, Tom Bergeron. and you came right at me. So Tom is awesome. And I thought after the interview, it was great.
Yeah.
But I definitely wanted to talk to him. And we never spoke beforehand because I didn't want to speak beforehand. I didn't want anything that we were going to say beforehand to affect how good our conversation was going to be at the beginning of that, because that's the real stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a fun one. I loved that show though. It was so fun.
Why do you hate me?
Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you give titles to these podcasts, but in my mind, the title for this one is Friendship Cleanup on Aisle 2.
You know, you recently became a dad for the first time. Congratulations.
Thank you. I
How-
mailed her back. Like the Mirrorball.
Yeah, exactly.
I sent her back. I got mad. Had wrist surgery. I was like, I'm out. Tom Bergeron has my baby right now.
Yeah, I was going to say. It's like, I love that you named her Billie.
Yeah.
Which I love for a girl's name. It's like Billie Eilish or Billie Holiday. Was there a reason why you named her Billie?
Yeah, my wife's dad's name is Billy.
Oh.
And so when we were going through names, my first suggestion was Bobby with an I. That was not met warmly. And so we both had ideas on names, and I love my wife's dad. I didn't have a dad. He's the greatest. And I said, what about Billy for a girl? Because her dad's name is Billy. It's not Bill. It's literally Billy. And I don't think she was expecting to like it. And she was like, that oddly is good because it is a girl's name, but it was after her dad. And I think she loved that because she's very close to her parents. And so, yeah, it worked out. Like second round pick, Billy. Bobby with an I was number one for sure. Everybody needs to know that. But Billy it was my idea, I'd like to say. But my wife was in love with it immediately.
Yeah.
So we're super proud of it. I think it's a great name. And she has a lot of hair. Like people will tell us, like we go to the doctor, they're like, as far as white babies go, this is the most hair we've ever seen. Because they'll go like Hispanic babies, they got a lot of hair. This white kid has got the most hair we've ever seen. So yeah, so we're living pretty good. My wife is dominating. It's very hard, but she loves it so much, and I just try to support her the most as possible. And I'm sure I have my flaws and faults in it, but it's been a pretty great last few weeks.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
I can't imagine the sleep if you have a morning show.
My wife's been great about that too. My hours are so odd anyway that I'm able to be awake way, way early in the morning, and I think that helps a little bit. So maybe it's a benefit. I never really thought before the baby, like it sucks, I got to wake up so early, but I don't sleep well anyway. So if I don't go to bed till 10:30 or 11, and then I wake up at 3 or 4, I'm awake for when a lot of the baby's doing the stuff before my wife. So it's definitely, there's some sleep deprivation, but it hasn't been as bad because my hours were odd anyway.
Yeah. So I feel like, you've already done so much. What lies ahead in terms of goals for you?
I feel like and I'm not just saying this, I feel like a huge failure in my career, and I'm getting to the point where I'm, in my mid 40s, and like my only goal was to host one of these big award shows. And like every year, you're on the list. It's always no. So like I feel like a massive failure, and I struggle with that. And I go to therapy, and I'm like, I may never get this. And it was like the one goal. And so it's funny how in our like introspectively we feel one way, and the whole world looks at it, and then it could be anybody's situation. But no, I struggle with failure all the time. Like I think everybody has a bit of imposter syndrome. I definitely deal with that, but I mean, I talk in therapy a lot about how I don't get certain things, and it's been my goal to get them. And I've had all these other, and my wife is great about it. She's like, why are you so fixated on that one thing when you've done 84 things bigger than that? But it's like, it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about, I set goals, and there have been a couple, and that's one of them that I haven't been able to reach. And I feel like such a loser because I have not been able to like attain those goals. And like, I'll give you an example, like the ACM specifically, it's a big award show in Nashville. I've been that second guy multiple years, like Reba hosted, and I'm on camera more than anybody else, but I wasn't the host. Like they didn't give me the reins of that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you asking that question, but I don't feel that way. Like I feel like a huge failure for, hours a day, every day. I just fixate on it.
So crazy. It's like when, someone puts something online and there's like a million positive comments and they focus on the one.
Oh, I do that too.
comment.
Yeah.
Even still to this day?
I only look at comments on Tuesdays now.
Okay.
And that started as a joke, but it's now the thing that I do because for my mental health, it was not good.
Yeah.
I would see comments and appreciate the nice ones, but it would just fixate on the bad ones. Or Facebook, like the message boards, brutal. Don't even look at But or Twitter, the only time I will look at any comment sent to me ever is on a Tuesday. And I give that's my day of pain. Sunday's a day of rest. Tuesday's the day of pain. So I feel like I'm going to check in on Tuesday and see what everybody feels, what's good and what's bad. And then I don't the other days because I can't handle it. And I have the toughest skin. I'm strong. I've been through it all. I've been able to grow with it, meaning I started very small and you get a little hate. You got medium, get a medium hate, get a lot, done massive but you never actually become immune to it. Mm-hmm. And if I'm hungry or I'm already having a bad day or like something's off, even hormonal, like I'm going to take that times 4 just because my day's off. And so it's not good for my mental health. And so Tuesdays are pain day. And I look only on Tuesdays do I look at the comments. And that has been good for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I'm avoiding it completely. It almost feels like a cheat day. Like when I'm having to dial in and get physically fit for some project, because I do stay generally fit, I'll do, a cheat day. This Tuesday's pain day, and I'll look in comments then, because I'm not mature enough to not let it affect me. It still hurts a lot of times. Not always, but it's not worth it to me for one of those days to happen.
Yeah. I mean, why not get rid of pain day altogether?
I need to know what people are saying.
Yeah.
I need to know. I still got the itch, and it's not all bad. And I do at times learn things, but I do subscribe to, why would I listen to people being critical about me if I wouldn't care for their advice? I didn't invent that saying, but it's, why would you listen to people say bad things about you when you wouldn't ever go to them, for advice on something? You don't trust what they're saying. But I am human, and I would say 99.9% of artists, it doesn't matter the size. Like they could be the biggest artist in the world, or it could be somebody just starting out. Like it's all the same. It sucks sometimes. And you just have to learn how to cope. And my coping is, it's like sweets. I freaking love sweets.
Same.
Sugar all day. I can't keep it in the fridge because I will eat it all.
Same.
So my thing isn't willpower of it's in front of me, I won't eat it. My thing is don't keep it around. And if it's not around, I can't eat it. So I have to do comments like I do sweets. I don't go into them. They're not around unless it's Tuesday.
It's your cheat day.
And then that's when I eat sweets.
What do you want the legacy of Bobby Bones to be?
And I generally didn't care. I have a baby now, and that changes you a little bit because I don't want her to be embarrassed of me. I think it's that. I just don't want her to be embarrassed of me. That's the only thing. Because we're just organic matter. None of this matters. Like literally nothing matters. And so it's very nihilistic of me. Nothing matters. And so like there's things at home that I'm happy that I get to take care of. Like with my high school, I have a very selfish, altruistic heart, meaning the things that affected me, I'm very passionate about. So like food insecurity in Arkansas, we didn't always eat. So like I care about that, but I only care about that because it happened to me. Like I wish I just cared about birds or something. I don't. Like flying to fans, I don't give a crap. But it's the food. It's like my school, pretty poor school. So like I buy jerseys for the football team. Like I couldn't afford shoes to play basketball when I was a kid, so I didn't play in the high school team. So I buy the basketball team shoes, so no one has to make that decision of. So if I had to pick a legacy, it was somebody that comes from somewhere where they shouldn't have been able to do it, and they did. And I like that because hopefully I believe the world is completely bendable, and you could be a freaking trailer park kid like me and make millions of dollars. Anybody can do it. You just got to have the discipline and the right strategy and the right people around you, and just be a little crazy. Like if you don't believe in you, nobody else will. And I believe in me so much that it's obscene. Also, I hate me. So it's a weird thing. Like we started this. It's like I love and I think I can do anything. I think I could be president of the freaking world, and that's not even a title if I wanted to be. And at the same time, I just don't even like to look myself in the mirror a lot of times. So I don't want to embarrass my kid, and hopefully people feel like if they see where I've come from and where I am now, it gives them maybe some inspiration or motivation that they can do the same. Yeah.
I don't know about the first part because that story is yet to be written, but definitely the second part. You've inspired a lot of people. So.
Well, I hope so. And please, no negative comments.
Yes,
please.
exactly.
Unless I'll see them on Tuesday if so.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.